Hey, friend.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, this is an amazing group of people. We have friends, family, colleagues, dogs, and then robots. So what else would you expect?
I think we have it all, right?
Yes, we have it all. We're going to have an amazing time tonight.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump right into it. So let's start with Deal, right? So it's a global HR platform. You have 37,000 companies and 1.5 million workers in 150 countries running on Deal today. But only a couple of years ago, I think you guys were in Y Combinator. Just an idea.
2019.
2019. So take us back. Like, how did Deal get started? What made you want to co-found it? Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I super excited to share my experience right after the nod, and then I believe that the founder-led company is the most transformative, most innovative, and highest growing company possible. So I'm Shuo, co-founder and CRO of Deal. We're a founder-led company. And we founded the company in 2019. We're a YC Winter 19 batch. And we were a very different, I can tell you that we were a very different company when we first started. So we applied YC with the idea that we want to build a crypto payout platform for content creators. The idea is that we want to build some kind of escrow algorithm and automatically release the payment to influencers based on their performance. And what happened in 2019, first month is the bottom of the crypto market, right? So no one wants to get paid in crypto. Then we said, fuck, what's going to happen? We need to figure out another product to build. So we decided to interview 200 companies in my batch, almost 400 founders, and we asked, how are you paying your talents today, right? And then what are some of the problems that we can solve for you? And we realized that, instead of crypto, we can just build a regular payment platform, including crypto, so to pay people. Then we later on pivot to payment platform for influencers. And after interviewing 200 other companies in the same batch, we realized that not every single company is using influencers, but everyone is kind of using an independent contractor here and there, either international or domestic, use some kind of design work or engineering work. And then we decided that, hey, how about we just do a payment platform for international independent contractors? And then that was our YC pitch.
So a lot of it was through discovery, right? You interviewed 200 customers or 200 batchmates, kind of was able to get to that idea. And then I think you touched a little bit on this, which was the first, after you talked to 200 or so and you kind of started to figure out what people were saying, there's still a pretty big gap in knowing that it's something that they want versus something, that they say they want. So what was the early version of Deal? What did that look like? And how did you kind of go about, validating this?
So initially, we emailed a lot of YC companies, right? And then we did, my job at the time it was set up a goal. So I want to reach out, close to 50 companies every single day. And at the time, we don't have all the AI sales intelligence tools. We don't have the power dialing or automated LinkedIn messaging or intelligence email tools. Right? Literally, you have to email the companies one by one. So what we did is that we emailed 100 prospects every single day, and we did that for about 1 month. And 98 of the prospects just ignored our email, but only 2 of them replied. But among the 2 that replied, and we found this product is actually something people want, right? So that is what YC keeps on telling every single founder is build something people want. And we realized that yes, we need to go down this path, and we need to continuously understand that how they are hiring people today. how are they paying people? What is the biggest problem with their existing solution? That is how we build different features on top of just the payment platform, and we streamline the payout experiences, including invoices, localized contract templates, and then compliance. That was our very first product. Yeah.
And then I think you guys did, actually out of curiosity, how many founders in here are building in-person companies? Okay, actually less than I would have thought. But a lot of the narrative, right, is kind of this in-person, basically culture. And you guys very early on decided to be, worldwide remote first. Can you talk a little bit about what went into that and the thinking behind that?
Yeah, I think it's not only about remote, it's about being a distributed team. And then we're very global first, right? And then myself, I'm I have a very international background, and I grew up in China, moved to the States at the age of 16. My co-founder, Alex, he grew up in Paris, and then he studied in the US. We met at MIT, and we become really good friends with many of our classmates, and who are also very international. And then we realized at the time that of graduation, they couldn't stay inside the US because they have visa problems. Even though some of them got job offers from the best company in the US, but they couldn't stay. So we realized that is a big problem. And then at the time, we can understand that talents are everywhere. It is not because location and then geo should not be a limiting factor. And then we we want to solve this problem initially for our friends. Yeah. And then when we first graduated Y Combinator, we had a big problem on fundraising. We can only raise from seed investors and angels. We barely have money invested from institution. Because at the time we were a very different company, and Alex and myself, we didn't really have a lot of resources, and we're outsiders, right? Still today, I think we're kind of outsider, even though Deal is a $17 billion company. And we want to become outsiders because we want to keep a global perspective, and we want to be global first. But I think YC definitely helped us, right? Helped us when we first moved to San Francisco. They gave us the resources. They are our first backers, and then they are our first believers. Yeah.
Amazing. And you talked a little bit. I want to bring back to the early pivot, which was probably pretty early established the company culture. It sounds like quick to experiment. You guys adapted really quickly. You didn't have any of the AI sales tools that we have today. So just really kind of quick thinking. How have you guys kept that culture going from the two of you in YC to now, 1,500 people, $17 billion company? How have you guys kept that culture?
So I think the culture that you are talking about is what we call deal speed. So that means we focus on execution. We quickly identify problems, and then we quickly come up with solutions, and then we try different kind of solutions, and then we finalize and then pick one and execute on it, right? And then that has been our culture that enabled Deal to grow fast for the past 6 years. We grew from 0 to $1 billion ARR earlier this year within less than 6 years, and then we're profitable. We have been profitable for the past 3 years, right? So I think number one, it is because we focus on execution. Number two is also because we are a global company, and we have clients across 160 different countries in the world, right? And then I feel there is there is an inflection time. I feel we have too many people, and then the company is becoming too big for me to understand. And then there needs to be a culture shift, right? So there is the time that I realized my team started to schedule meetings on my calendar, and then the content of the meeting is trying to tell me what is going on in my company. I was like, that feels so wrong, and then I feel very, very nervous, and I feel really, really bad about that. And then immediately after that, I told my co-founder and then also my team, saying that we have too many levels in the company, and then we cannot have VP, head of director, senior, associate director, manager, and IC. We need to change that culture immediately. And we removed 2 levels, and now we only have 5 levels, including execs. And then in between, we expect the managers to do IC work, right? And then if you're a designer, you're a manager, manages designers, you need to be able to do design. If you're a sales manager, you need to be able to do sales. You carry a personal quota. If you're an engineer manager, you need to be able to do code as well. Meanwhile, manages your team. So everyone needs to do some kind of IC work so that you understand exactly what is going on and you're onto the details. Yeah.
And how do you keep that culture and that bar so high? Now you guys are a large enterprise at this point, right? And growing very quickly. But when it comes to hiring and talent, what do you look for? How do you screen? How do you evaluate what makes a good hire?
That's a great question. I actually love to share my hiring experiences because at the beginning days of deal, we interviewed every single one for our first 400 employees, myself and my co-founder Alex. So let's say that is around several thousand people, and a lot of the time we just focus on back-to-back engineering because we believe the first 500 employees of your team define the culture, and then and especially we're a fully distributed company, and then we don't really have a headquarters, and then we don't have everyone in the office, right? So culture needs to be strong, and we just needs to make sure everyone that we hire within the first group of founders, they need to be aligned, and we need to understand that they're really good at execution, and then they care for our clients, they care for the team, and also another really good value I love is called the default optimism. So that means, I think I shared with you, right? So the default optimism meaning we're by default optimistic about the toughest problems in the world. We believe we'll be able to come up with solutions to solve those problems, and then we can move on, yeah. And then I think also another thing is cultures comes from founders, right? So again, go back to the founder led company. Your culture defines the culture of the company, right? So if you're onto details, then your team understands what is detail, and then they need to work on it. If you are focused on customers, then the team automatically focus on customers. If you focus on product and then continuously shaping the best features on the market, then the team is focused on product and then shaping features.
And I think one of the other things that you shared with me, which stuck out, was this written culture. So because you guys are global first, distributed first, you shared it almost forces everyone to think clearly, to have things written down. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts around that and how that has been so important to building the company?
Yeah, I think if you want to do a project, right, so you need to first understand the problem statement, and then understand the existing solutions. And then the next step is why existing solutions do not work. And then analyze that, and then you'll be able to come up with better solutions, and then design the better solutions, and then design really good process and systems for the better solution so that the team can execute on it, right? And then clear your thought process, and then follow this framework step by step, and then document everything, and then into Notion or Google Docs or Pages, and then be able to record all of your thinkings, and then draw graphs is provide a lot of transparency, yeah, for that level of thinking. Yeah.
Really interesting. And I think maybe just to kind of come to the end here, a little bit about we heard Vinod and Sandhya talk about a lot of us not having to work and have jobs in a couple of years here. For a company of your size, like how are you guys thinking about, bringing AI both like internally into the company? What are you guys doing there? And then also externally from like a product perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I very recently thinking about the same question as well, right? So I can share with you my thought. Today, Deal is a 7,000 people company. And then we have people across 100, Deal employees, we have people across 120 different countries. That's compared to many other, hyper growth startup or tech companies out there. We have a lot of people, but that is just our business model, right? So we have 165 entities across 140 different countries. For some of the countries, we have more than 2 entities because we need to be able to hire talents on behalf of our clients, and then depends on the type of talents that the clients wants to hire, we need to have the right entities set up for that. And because of that, for each of the entity and each of the countries that we operate in, we have our own in-house legal, in-house taxes, in-house finance, in-house HR, in-house support, and then in-house payroll team. And then that level of operation, we cannot just cut because we want to own infrastructure in-house end to end instead of outsource any part of that to third-party vendors, right? So once we set up that infrastructure, the operations team, we build many different AI-powered automation tools to improve those teams' productivity. Give you a very simple example. Today, we process close to 2 million talents, 2 million people's pay slips on Deal platform, okay? And then across 140 different countries. And then for each of that country, we have our own payroll run team. So with our own AI-empowered payroll engines, we are able to save close to 6,000 manual hours for manual verification. 6,000 hours, that is 250 days. With that level of automation combined to process 2 million people's salary, we were able to save 250 days, yeah.
So massive productivity saving internally.
Massive productivity saving internally. Deal is a very early adopter of AI. I don't think anyone knows that part, right? Because we are a global payroll and HR company. And but the thing is, internally, I shared with you our infrastructure. It is actually very complicated because we facilitate payments across 160 different countries, right? So basically, every single country out there possible. And because of that, we need to be very precise on who we can send the payment to. We need to verify a lot of the paperwork. And then we need to run and then process payroll pay slips, right? Because of that, we cannot hire endless number of people just to do that. We have to rely on AI and we have to build a lot of automation. And then another example would be customer support. Customer support today, we were able to save 2,000 hours combined for our customer support team every single month to help our clients to answer their questions or solve their problems. Yeah.
And then talk to us a little bit about what goes into product decisions at a company of this scale. So you guys just recently released a new product that's going fantastically well. When you guys think about, what to build, what geography regions to roll it out in, how do you guys think about this basically at this scale?
Yeah, I think we are a customer-led. In terms of that, we listen to our customers. We are very close to our customers. We hear their feedback. We gather their insights from all kinds of angles, right? So it's not only from the typical customer success team, sales team, but also we have signal checking, and then we see how people are talking about our product. We record every single demos, and then we consistently have product sessions with our clients and then potential customers as well. So from that, we can understand what features that they need, what is the next product what is the next biggest product that they care about, and then what are the most urgent problem that they have that we can solve, right? So that is definitely a process for us to understand how to prioritize what product to build. Myself, and then I'm in charge of revenue, so I'm Chief Revenue Officer. So my job is make money for the company, and then everything go to market, sales, and customer related role under me. So I'm very close to my customers. So I collect feedback, I share with product team, and then product team would analyze the feedback and develop the product, right? But this is a mature system now, but early days, when it is just myself and my co-founder Alex, I would be Alex, the product sucks, I cannot sell. And then Alex said, no, you don't know how to tell a really good story to the clients. And I was like, why couldn't you do a payroll run for 200 countries out there? Every single country needs it. And then he would be like, what are you talking about? There's only 195 countries in the world. Do you even understand what is going on, right? So that would be our dynamics. But now, we still work very closely, and then but it is a lot more systematic, and then we have a really good system, to provide feedback with each other. Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, it was the two of you and Alex, an idea just entering YC, and today it's I think over a $17 billion company. Just a couple years later, a ton of momentum this year. Announced massive fundraise. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Revenue milestones, over $1 billion ARR, and 2 years of profitability. A whole bunch of new changes, a new CFO. Where do you guys go next? What does 2026 look like for Deal, and what does 2026 look like for Shuo?
Yeah. I think 2026, I'm very excited, right? So again, one of my favorite culture ideal is default optimism. So we're very optimistic for what is coming up next. And then also for Deal, we are building a operating system for the global workforce. That means we are going to build global HR products, we're going to build global IT products, we're going to build global payroll infrastructure. So to empower companies themselves to be able to build their own HR products, to be able to build their own payroll products, to be able to build their own IT products. That is very powerful. And I believe that is the future, I believe that is where the future is heading, right? So because if you look at MCPs today, if you look at all the models being out there, you can easily build a lot of features by yourself. But the thing is, from all those features, we can provide you the model, the legal models, the HR models, the localized compliance models across 160 different countries out there, right? So and then you can just use our model to build what you need when it comes to payroll and HR. Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. And then we still have a lot to do. I think that is a very big vision. There are, as I said, 195 countries in the world, and then we are just starting. Yeah.
Amazing. Everyone, please join me in a warm thank you for Shuo from Deal.